Looking for a roadmap to freedom? We got it.
Yeah, in this video, we're going to show you the transformational roadmap. How to create healthy, life-giving relationships, how to love yourself, and how to reignite your dreams.
Love yourself. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and how you can do that in a 90-day program.
Which is unbelievable, you might say, but it's not unbelievable. It's happening.
But before we get into it, we're going to introduce ourselves. My name is Dean Sunseri. I've been a counselor, coach for over 30 years. I got in this journey a long time ago when I was coming out of Catholic seminary.
I think you started before you got out.
Yeah.
I think you kind of started on your journey in there.
Yeah, in the seminary.
In the seminary, yeah.
And during that time, I was really struggling with lots of different issues, stuck in a lot of different ways, lonely, dealing with a lot of things. And I was plunged into this intensive emotional, psychological, and spiritual growth process. And in the midst of that, really had some major breakthroughs and really began to go from fear to love, going from really being shut down to coming back alive. And it was in the midst of that.
Loneliness to connection.
From loneliness to connection.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me.
Well, I'm not correcting you. I'm just
No, it's true. No, that's true.
That was true.
And it was around that time that I met HollyKem. And then we eventually got married. But one of the things I realized was that we both had been on this intensive growth process before we met each other. And because we did that work, it's made our marriage easy.
It is easy. A lot of people don't believe that, but it's true.
We've been married how long?
32 years.
32 years, and we couldn't count on one hand how many times we've had really serious arguments and fights.
Right. No. And it's due to this.
Yeah.
What we're telling you about. So, hi, I'm HollyKem, and been married for 32 years, but the first marriage...
32, and she's still looking good.
Oh, thanks, honey. But the first marriage, I got married at 19, and that didn't work. And I was a mess. I was a drug addict, alcoholic, codependent out the, all over the place. And just really suffering, very lonely. And I got sober at 22 years old. And on that, I started that journey of really finding myself. And I didn't love myself. And I just worked really hard on loving myself and did everything I could. And my heart was so pure of wanting to be different, wanting to be all that God intended me to be, that He downloaded this process to me. And that's what this process is about. So for 38 years, I'd say it's 38 years, I've been a coach, counselor, and therapist. And now I do coaching.
Yeah, we're going to explain this process to you. But before we do, I want to show you a few testimonies just in the last 30 days.
Yeah.
Look at this one. This is Erica. She wrote, "This course has helped me love myself." Yeah. And show up to situations and say things I want to say.
Yeah, Erica has become her complete true self, knowing how to manage the fears of life, the fears from the past, and also to be able to have a voice instead of talking too much or not saying anything at all, not having healthy boundaries. Now she really knows how to love herself and to show up.
Yeah. Look at this second testimony.
This is your favorite.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. This is Sean. I call him Big Chief. He wrote, "By learning this process that transformed you, our fights," talking about his fights with his spouse, "have gone from 3 days long," how many of y'all can relate, "to 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
That's priceless, right?
That's priceless. To have 3 days of discord in your home is miserable.
And to know how to now manage it in 30 seconds.
That's right. It doesn't mean that he's not having a voice. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have a voice, but they can communicate.
Doesn't mean he's not going through a process to work through it, right?
Exactly.
But it's just a lot shorter.
It's a lot shorter.
Yeah. Look at Thomas here.
Oh, Thomas.
Thomas wrote, "This course has helped me put language to my whole being.
His whole being.
I've grown on 3 levels, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. And there's a lot to say about those three things
Yes.
because oftentimes we'll go to programs and it's just psychological. Sometimes it's
Right.
just emotional.
Right.
You go to church or the synagogue or wherever and it's just spiritual.
Right.
But this is a program that actually integrates those three.
Yes.
In fact, people that are interested in our program, if we say to them, look, if you're not interested and willing to look at your spiritual life
Right.
and your connection with God, then this program's not for you.
It's not for you.
Yeah. Let's look at the next testimony. Karen. Karen wrote, Transform You has helped me become happy, healthy, and a loving person again.
Again.
What do you think she means by again?
Well, obviously she knows she's a loving person, but being all stuck in her wounds and being stuck in her protective modality, she couldn't be her true self all the time. And Karen's a newlywed. And her husband went through this. And if you would see their picture before, hopefully we'll have a page on our YouTube channel where we can show you their pictures and their testimonies from their own mouths. They're like more a little kind of like this. And the glow that Karen has is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see her soul and her spirit just coming through.
Yeah, so good.
So good.
We want you to watch this video to the end because we're going to give you 3 clear foundations that make up this transformational roadmap.
Yeah.
And these are all the benefits that we have learned in the last 30 years, and we're going to be sharing a number of those with you.
Yeah. We're going to give you everything we've learned. We've packaged it and put it to a process from A to Z.
Yeah, yeah. But if you're exploring our program, we don't want to waste your time if you're not a highly motivated individual.
Yes.
Look, that's one of our requirements. Another requirement is you're willing to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
And investing, we mean financially, but also time-wise, really cutting out time to say, I'm going to do the work.
I'm going to do the work, right.
And you need to want to grow psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Right.
And then you also need to be ready to do a deep dive in your internal work because, look, oftentimes talk therapy is helpful, but you don't do the deep dive.
Right.
And if you don't do the deep dive, you're not going to have lasting change.
That's right. And for us, we want results.
Yeah.
We're not here just to sell you something, just to give you a little bit of information and then hook you into something else. That's not the point. The point is we're looking for people that really want to grow, that are ready to do the work and push through so they can get to the other side and really have lasting change. Because this does work.
Yeah, so if you're not willing to invest in yourself, time and money, and if you believe change cannot happen for you, it's best to just click off right now. And you watch we have a lot of free YouTube videos on our YouTube channel. Watch those so that you can increase your belief about you're worth it and change can happen.
Right. And one of the things about the YouTube channel is we're always adding. We have videos from 60 seconds to an hour. So we're always adding there. So, if you're not ready for this, it's just a place that you can go and get free stuff because we give a lot away there. Because that's important to us. We really want people to be able to be their true self and be all that God intended them to be.
Yeah. Some of y'all, like us, have been through counseling, been through coaching, been to conferences, read books, retreats, e-courses, and haven't gotten the results that you wanted.
Right. And it's not that those things are awful because they're not. One of the things that was really important to me and in the intentions of my heart was that what God had given us, that I wanted it to be a complement to anything anybody had already experienced. Because, we're very, obviously, if you're going to counseling, you're doing coaching, you've been to conferences, you've read tons of self-help books, you've been to retreats, you've invested in e-courses. And if you haven't gotten those results, we want to take all of that you've already learned and you'll be able to implement that from where you come from because the concept that we have is very simple.
Yeah. It's not easy, but it's very simple.
Yeah, it's very, very simple, but it's very, very deep. And you do get the results because we walk you through it.
Yeah, I found oftentimes we don't get the results or you haven't gotten the results that you wanted. One of the reasons is that you've gotten a lot of information, but you
Right.
haven't implemented it
Right.
into your
and
life.
they may not have shown you how.
Yeah. The other reason is oftentimes you don't have a clear
Right.
roadmap to go from A to Z.
Right.
And the third reason, as I said before, oftentimes people don't lead you into doing the deep dive
Right.
so that you can have lasting change. You see, if you don't do the deep dive, it's like cutting weeds with a weed eater. It just grows back a month later.
Right.
But the deep dive enables you to go down and pull it up at the root. And when
Right.
that happens, you have lasting change.
You have lasting change.
So what makes us different is that we give you a clear transformational roadmap
Yes.
to take from A to Z.
Exactly.
And we also don't just give you information, but we give you what we call activations
Right.
on every lesson
On every lesson.
to implement it into your life so it's not just up here, but it becomes part of your life, right?
Right. What I love about it is that, just like we're here, we go through the lesson, we ask the questions. We don't just give you the questions, say, oh, answer these questions. We ask the question while the video so you can stop it and write the answers and go back. You can, if you didn't understand the lesson before the question, you can go back and watch it again. And then after you do that, we give you the activations where we are asking you just what we taught about. We're doing the assignment and we're teaching it to you and we're giving you examples. So that way there's no misunderstanding. And then we also offer groups where you can come on, and we really want you to come on, and we talk about all these things to make sure that everything is congruent, that you're getting it. Because in this, what I know, to get it from my head to my heart,
Yeah.
to my soul and my spirit, takes work, okay?
Yeah, it does.
But it also takes someone holding your hand that's done it before and hold your way through it. And I know with all of the clients over the last 30-something years that the ones that did the work, they are still living this process. They are still understand their wounded self. They still understand their protector, and when they get caught up, they know how to get back to their true self.
Yeah, yeah.
That's lasting.
Yeah, the other thing that makes us different is that we will take you on a deep dive.
Yes, we will.
And part of the value that we offer you is that we actually do it in community.
Yes.
Over the internet. And so it's a unique community. It's a
Right.
modern community. But we take you in a deep dive so that you can pull it out
Yeah.
at the root and you can have lasting change.
Yes.
Some of y'all might think, look, a healthy marriage is impossible.
Right. And that's really sad to me that over the years, I mean, how many times have I heard, I've never seen a healthy marriage. Yours is the healthiest I've ever seen. That's really sad to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person. So it's like, if there's anything that we can do that we know how to have a healthy marriage. I didn't say a perfect marriage. I said a healthy marriage. That why wouldn't we want to give you those tools?
Yeah. Some people that I've met, perhaps you're saying this too, is that you have a hurting heart that will
Yeah.
never heal.
Right.
Or you'll never improve on your connections in a loving way with the people around you. Or you'll never find your deeper fulfillment.
Right.
And sometimes it's because you say, I'm too busy to work on this stuff.
Right.
But that's not true.
That's not true.
Look, you make time for whatever's a priority to you.
Right.
And
And you
if-
spend your money where it's a priority to you.
Yeah. And so if you make this a priority, you will make the time to be able to do this work.
And it will work.
Yeah.
100%.
I've also had clients that said, well, if I do the work and my spouse doesn't,
Right.
it's not going to
They
work.
don't want to come.
They don't want to come. They don't want to participate. Sometimes people come in and work on this together. Sometimes it's just
Right.
one. Sometimes it's just a single person. It doesn't matter. But if your spouse is not participating, you can still do your part.
Yes.
And we promise you, it will change the relationship.
It does change your relationship because it changes you. And you become all that you know you need to be. And then you're able to love no matter what the other people in your life can do or not do. And then if you're single and you don't have a mate and you want one, this is it.
I think one of the miracles of your life, and perhaps you can share this, is
Sure.
how you went from not knowing at all how to be in a relationship in your first
Yeah.
marriage, to being transformed, to be able to function so healthy and so life-giving in our marriage. Tell us about that.
Well, I come from not one dysfunctional family. I come from two dysfunctional families because my parents got a divorce when I was a kid. So I had two different families that were not functioning emotionally, mentally, spiritually, at all. So from that, what ends up happening is I start to be self-destructive. And, as a young teenager, I am addicted to alcohol and drugs. And through that, I get married at 19. I am a convicted felon by the time I'm 19, and looking at 10 years in the penitentiary. So from there, I didn't get sober then, and I didn't divorce my husband then. I got sober at 22 because I was emotionally gone. There was nothing left. I knew I was on my deathbed on every level of life. And I got sober at 22. I stayed with my husband for 2 years. And at 24, I was extremely suicidal. I left him, and I was already working on myself, but I didn't have these tools.
The roadmap.
I didn't have a roadmap. I was desperate, but I didn't have it, and I became extremely suicidal. And from there, God downloaded this process to me. So when people would speak to me in my journey of freedom and my journey of loving myself, this is what I saw, because I'm dyslexic and ADD, and I see in pictures. And from there, for 38 years, I have been on this process, working on myself. And then here I am today. I became a counselor, therapist, and now a life coach, minister. Married for 32 years. We have a beautiful son that happens to be adopted, but he's our son, and he's now he's 24, right? Our sweet Moses. So, and what I can say is I know how to love even if you don't know how to love me back. I know how to be myself even if it's unsafe. I know how to love my husband and empower him and see him, and my son as well. And I am free to be me. I'm free to love. And I love God. And he loves me. And he's forgiven me for all of that stuff. Yeah. And I know that. And then I have the great privilege to teach this, to help people, to lead them to the freedoms that I have received.
Yeah, just to honor my wife for a minute, as I've gotten to know her, I've gotten to see where she's come from and where she is now. And it's nothing short of miraculous.
Oh,
it really is. And for her to have the capacity of how to love, how she loves her clients, how she loves me, how she's embraced herself is extraordinary. And that's the gift that she has, that we have, that we want to give you. So we're looking at how is this done?
Right.
What is the roadmap? What is the transformational roadmap? Right. Well, we have 3 foundations, 3 pillars in a sense, that are the hallmark of our process. The first one is identifying and containing your self-destructive thoughts and behaviors. It's a whole process that we take you through to do that. Secondly, we do a deep dive and we teach you to embrace, love, and start to heal your past wounds and resentments. Right. And after we clear this out, we're going to empower your dreams. Right. Which is your purpose, will strengthen your spiritual connection with God. And these are the 3 foundations. I've found that some of the coaching realms or some of the programs were just focused on empowering your dreams and want you to go to that place. But the difficulty is if you don't do the first 2 steps, then it blocks you from being empowered in that third way. And we'll go into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you think about a foundation, if the foundation isn't solid, everything sinks and stinks.
Sinks and stinks.
And then you're stuck, right?
Yeah.
And who wants to be stuck in life?
Well, let's break down the 3 foundations a little deeper, right? Foundation 1 is identifying and containing your self-destructive thoughts and behaviors.
Right.
Look, if you have unhealthy beliefs they're going to kill your dreams.
They will.
If you have unhealthy habits, they're going to kill your destiny.
They will.
So the first step we need to do is deal with these beliefs. We need to deal with these habits so that you can have your dreams and you can fulfill your destiny.
Right.
You know, have you ever had a voice in your head that said, oh, have a drink when there's a problem comes along, right? A voice that says, my spouse is my enemy.
Oh.
Isn't it amazing how you can go in like 5 seconds, like, this is my best friend in the world, to like, the woman's my enemy, right? That's what we're talking about, that part that says, my spouse is my enemy.
Right.
Or the part that could say, stay at work and don't go home.
Right.
Or, I'll never be loved because I'm not good enough.
Right.
Look, in our sessions, we're going to help you identify these belief systems and separate them from who you are. And we're going to teach you how to contain them so they'll no longer have power over you.
Yeah. It's like when, the process is we take the person and we dissect you into 3. Okay? And a lot of people are like, only 3? There's a lot more of me than 3 of me. Right? But we just make it really, really simple. So the part of me that was born is my true self, who I really am, who God intended me to be. However, the first thing that happens to us on this earth when a baby is born is what? They need the baby to cry. So what do? They hit the baby. They pinch the baby. So the first thing that happens to us in this world is that we feel pain. And that's how they all know in that room that I'm alive, that baby is alive, is through pain. And that's really the last free cry you get on this earth. Because everybody else is like, what's wrong with you? Why are you crying? And so they want to fix it, right? But the truth is when that baby cries, everybody is happy and everybody loves the baby and the baby comes back to his true self.
Yeah.
That is the natural part of what's supposed to happen on earth. However, let's just take an example of everybody in a family loses the same thing. Okay? They lose a loved one. So we're all in pain about this. So there's not enough people around to help love that part enough completely for me to come back to my true self. So what happens is part of me gets kind of like a rock that wasn't completely grieved.
It gets internalized.
It gets internalized. So it gets put like in this little bucket, okay? Yeah. So just think of it like that, like a little rock that, here it is. Well, as life goes on, there's many things that happen to me and losses, and so I don't get to really grieve that, love that
So the
wound.
bucket gets bigger and it's accumulation with rocks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then we're very smart. God has made us very intelligent. So then I come up with a third part, which is my protector, which is the part of me that protects me from being hurt again. So it says, you know what? If I'm a good girl, this won't happen. If I'm smart, it won't happen. If I'm pretty, it won't happen. If I'm a great athlete, it won't happen.
And this is the part that evolves into our self-destructive thoughts and behaviors.
Yeah, at the beginning, it is made just to help me not feel pain.
It works for you.
It works for me.
But over time, it works against you.
But over time, it works against me. And to the point to where it can bring you into self-destructive things, such as believing that you're not enough, believing that no one will ever want you, believing that you have to work your way for somebody to love you.
Believing your wife is your enemy. That's not good.
That's not good. Believing you have to be perfect to be loved.
Yeah.
That was mine. And then, alcohol's going to solve it. Workaholism, being at the gym all the time. Sugar's going to solve it. Whatever it is, then all of a sudden what happens is I have this part, and then there's me. But this is in front of me. And when that happens, then I get lost.
You get lost.
I get lost in all of this. I'm stuck.
Yeah, that's a good explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most people actually, for this first foundation, have difficulty, or some do, in identifying and owning their self-destructive thoughts and behaviors.
They think it's who they are, too.
But the beauty of our process is that we have a unique and non-threatening way to embrace and identify and understand this. And that's part of the process.
Yeah, it's like having a bad teenager, okay? You have a teenager that acts out. We don't throw the teenager away. We love the teenager.
Yeah.
So it's like how to love this part of me and not empower it.
Yeah. So in our sessions,
yes,
We do teaching about this, like we're
Right.
doing today.
Yeah.
But we also do activations.
Right.
So we do the education, we do questions
Right.
to start internalizing it, we do naming and claiming it. And I once heard that wisdom is applied knowledge.
Yeah.
I can get lots of knowledge, and that just makes me smarter, but not any healthier.
Exactly.
But when that knowledge is applied, that's what wisdom is.
Yeah.
And that's what we want for you. That's what we've sought for ourselves, is to have integrated knowledge, which we call wisdom.
Right. Who doesn't want wisdom?
Yeah. The second foundation is embracing, healing, and loving the wounds and losses of your life.
Right.
If you've been on earth more than one day, you've experienced some wounds
Yes.
and losses, right?
Right.
But do you know, unloved wounds and losses result in depression,
Exactly.
result in anxiety,
Exactly.
and also result in repeating your history.
And nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, I want you to hear that again. When you have wounds or losses that are undealt with
Right.
or not loved,
Right.
you will repeat your history in some manner.
Right. And I mean, one of the things that almost everyone says, and I'm not talking about the healthy parts of our parents, but the unhealthy patterns that they have, we don't want to repeat that. We don't want to be married more than once if we can help it. If we've already been married a couple of times, we don't want to do it again. We want to do it. We want to get the results. We want to be in a healthy, loving
Yeah.
place.
It's said that our secrets keep us stuck.
Yeah.
And that's so true.
It
is
is
that
so true.
the things that we've internalized that have not been given a voice
Right.
keep us stuck and keep us in unhealthy cycles. So what we do in our sessions is that we help you break free from the past,
Right.
and we teach you to love all of you. I think
Right.
one of the things you do so well is that you know how to love emotional pain.
I do know how to
People
love
in their pain,
Yes.
yourself,
Yes.
and how to help them move out of it. And we show people how to do that in our activations.
Well, one of the things is that when I'm in emotional pain, people think that makes me weak. But it doesn't make you weak. It shows what matters to you. That the things that I've lost matter to me. That's why it hurts me. I mean, if you lose your innocence, that's a big deal. You lose your favorite person like me, my grandmother, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's not something that you deal with. Like, that's what I thought when I was working on
Deal
myself.
with it in a sense that it completes it,
Right, like you deal with this and then you never have another feeling about it.
But you can work with it, and you can decrease the intensity,
You can decrease the intensity.
and decrease the frequency of it being triggered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a difference from I never feel something again versus that feeling controlling me.
Yeah. So when you're able to love this part of yourself, it also leads to you being able to love other people
Exactly.
with a greater capacity.
Well, in the Word of God, what Jesus said was to love your neighbor and God as yourself.
Yeah.
So I can only give you and God what I know how to give me. So the more I know how to love me, then I can do that for you, and I can love God more, which really opens my life up to unbelievable, a great, joyful life.
Yeah, that's good. And let's go to foundation 3 and just dig into that some. That's to empower your dreams, empower your destiny, or which we call the true self.
Right.
But in order to do this third foundation, you need to first do foundation 1 and 2.
That's right.
Because it clears things out so that when you do the empowerment work, things will escalate, will move.
That's right.
Look, if you have an unhealed heartache about a relationship that broke, that easily leads to relational despair.
Right.
Like, I don't ever happen to me. If you have unresolved sense of failure from something that you've done, then that's the formula for letting go of your dreams. You see, if you don't do the first 2, then you let go of your dreams, you have despair about relationships, and you don't think you can have the dreams and the desires that are entrenched in your heart, right?
Right.
So once you move those 2, do the first 2 foundations, we get into the third. Then we get into what we call the empowerment sessions,
Yes.
right? And we give you a space to explore your dreams, to explore your destiny. If you've done it already, we explore it at another level.
Right.
And then once you have that, we do activation exercises, right?
Totally.
To bring them to life, to start integrating and start giving you permission to fully go after it.
And not only that, what we do is we also help you continue the process. Mm-hmm. So we have people that have been with us and we have known that have started this process 30 years ago. And they still do this process because we have continued.
I think of Danielle talking about that just the other day.
Right. We have a couple that has done this 90-day, but they've been with us. They did this work 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And she was saying just how much more confidence she has in that by doing the process like this in this 90-day course, that she was able to see how much she has truly integrated this in her life for 30 years.
Yeah.
And it gave her so much confidence that this is how she functions all the time and has a healthy, loving relationship with her family, her children, and her grandchildren.
Yeah. Perhaps the most important part of foundation number 3 is that we help you grow in your spirituality. Mm-hmm. And so what does that mean? That means that we explore your connection with God and we look at it from different perspectives, right? Your wounded part, your coping part, and your true self, who you really are. And we do some clearing so that you increase your connection with God, because the truth is, or we believe that we're made to be in partnership with God. That's our bias.
That's us.
So if you're unwilling to explore this, you're not appropriate for our program, right? But we're meant to be in partnership with God. And when we are, then the impossible becomes possible. Yes. Because Jesus said, with man, it's impossible. Yeah. But with God, all things are impossible. So when we strengthen our partnership with him, it opens up the door to moving into doing the impossible. Mm-hmm. So we do those 3 foundations, and what is the outcome?
Right.
Well, when we complete the transformational roadmap in the 90 days, you will have the foundation for healthy relationships.
Right. With yourself, with others, and with God.
And you also have a greater love for yourself. Will teach you how to love all aspects of yourself. Oh, mm-hmm. And that will spill over into being able to love others more effectively. Yeah. And your relationships will have improved. Yeah. And you will have a deeper connection with God. Yes. So let us tell you about the people that we're looking to work with, right? Yes. You need to be highly motivated. Yes. You need to be willing to invest in yourself financially and time-wise. Yes. You know, the greatest investment you can make is what? In yourself.
That's right. Yeah.
Because the results last how long?
A lifetime. I mean, this is priceless. Yeah. I mean, you could have the G-Wagon, the big house, the perfect job, be the CEO. But if you don't want to go home because it's lonely, you don't want to go home because you don't get along with your wife, or you don't even know your children, what good is it all? Yeah. You know, I remember when this man I dated before Dean, his name was Jack, and very, very wealthy, had the 2 kids and the wife. And he said he used to be so lonely that when he would drive from one city to the next, he had a car phone, and he would pretend he was talking on it, so people that rode by him thought that he had friends. Wow, that's sad. And that is so sad, huh?
Yeah, yeah. You know, some of the people that we've really been able to help have been successful professionals who have it all at work.
Yes, they
and
do.
That are suffering at home.
Right.
Their relationship is distant. They feel isolated. They feel not connected with their spouse, with their children. And that's what we've been able to do, is help them have it all.
Right. And you know, what's interesting is that you can be very successful in some areas and then other areas not. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you didn't have the roadmap. you know? We all need something to help us in certain areas.
Yeah. So we're seeking highly motivated, willing to invest in yourself, desire the foundation for healthy relationships, and one healing in their life. Mm-hmm. And what we do it is in a 90-day process.
Right.
And we've had a lot of clients that have gotten things in 90 days that would have taken years to do
Yeah.
in therapy and coaching.
Well, we were looking at this, like how long would it take to do this work if you were doing it in individual coaching or counseling or therapy? And we came up with it would take 2 years. So if you go to a coaching individual counseling or therapist, you're looking at 40 hours a year. You go about 40 times, okay? Because of, you need to be off, I need to be off, there's holidays. So even if you make 50, but it's 40. So 40, it would take about 2 years. So that's 80 hours of work that you would be doing over a 2-year span. And to see me for 2 years like that, that would be right around 14,000 and a little more. And it would be about 14,000 for you and a little more. So you're looking at 28,000 if you worked with both of us. So, this is not a cheap process to be able to get to the other side. Is it worth it? It's priceless. But we've been able to pull it together, take everything that we know that works, put it from an A to a Z, that it's a formula, that we figured out this formula on how to get here. And not just how to do the work, but also how to continue it. So it becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah, if the person that we were describing is you, and you're interested in getting on a call with us to explore whether this is right for you, go ahead and book a call below, and we'll be happy to spend some time with you. And we'll ask you where you are now, where you want to be, and we'll explore whether this is a good fit. And if it's a good fit, we'll go ahead and get this process going. But if it's not a good fit,
right,
the worst thing that can happen is that we have a good conversation, we share lots of value, we give you lots of resources, and you leave the call with a whole lot of value. Yeah. So again, we're looking for highly motivated people that are seeking for more in their life, willing to invest in themselves, and are interested in healthy relationships and healing in their life.
Yeah.
So let us tell you about a couple of different options.
Right.
Option number one is you can take the information that we've already shared with you, the roadmap, try it for yourself, build your own roadmap, and take it and run with it.
Yes.
But option number two is you can hop on a call with us. We can shortcut the process. Look, we've put together in this package 30 years of counseling and coaching experience. So really, it's her 30 years, my 30 years. So we're looking at 60 years, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to help you move out of pain into healing and into healthier relationships in 90 days.
In 90 days.
Yeah. And that could save you, 1-2 years of therapy or coaching, huh?
Definitely.
So if that sounds like you and you're 100% sure you want to do option two and you want results easier and faster, go ahead and book a call with us down below, and we'll be happy to work with you and explore whether we're appropriate for each other.
If we fit.
Yeah.
If we're fit. See,
achieving emotional freedom, achieving healthy connections, self-love, it's hard and it can be a hard and lonely journey, right?
Yeah, it is a hard and lonely journey to do this, to work through all this and go back and look at things, So, the goal here is to make it as loving, as concrete, as simple as possible.
Yeah.
And saving time and money, because who has 2 years right now? I mean, I'm not saying don't do it. I mean, a lot of people do it. I did it. But our goal was if we could help get that tighter, don't miss any loops and just get it in, then we could bring you from here to here with a lot less other stuff.
Yeah. In our simple transformational roadmap, what we would do is really help you get unstuck.
Yes.
If you're living with a heartache due to a loss of a relationship, we'll help you start moving out of that heartache. If you're living in a lifeless marriage, we'll help you start shifting your part to be able to create a healthier relationship. If you're living with a lack of purpose, will help you get unstuck from that. And what
And
would
even-
that do for you, right?
Right. What would that do for you? I was even thinking about Karen and Josh. They're newlyweds, and they want to start their marriage off healthy.
Yeah.
You know, and then we have Sean and Danielle that have been married for 30 something years, have been doing this and living this type of lifestyle, and they went through this, and it made their marriage even better than it already was.
Yeah.
So you don't just have to be suffering, you know, you could just want more out of life.
Yeah, and if we can move you out of that stuckness, what would
Yeah.
that do for you? It would
Right.
change everything.
It would change everything.
Yeah.
It did change everything for me.
Yeah, not only moving out of stuckness, but would also help you contain your self-destructive thoughts and behaviors, will help you resolve the past,
Right.
and will help you empower your vision or your destiny and head into that direction. So if this roadmap speaks to you and you want to be part of our community with us and our team, book a call below,
Yes.
and God bless.
God bless.